let's begin. I think we have a couple of minutes past 8:30 our usual time in India, and welcome to everyone. And I know that there will be people joining from outside our usual QAW forum members, and like the experience of last time, if we can turn on our videos for the benefit of our speaker, if she wishes, I mean, it might give her a sense of a live audience better. It's up to you. If you're positioned in a way where you can turn on your video, please do so, and kindly mute your microphones. Welcome everyone to the QAW Invited Talk series. And today we have the pleasure and privilege of having Sangeet, Vidya, Sadhak, or let's say Upasak, Madhura Sukhathankar. She belongs to the Jaipur Atroli Gharana by training, but she is versatile in all sorts of music rendition or singing rendition rather. So first of all, Madhura, we welcome you heartily to the QAW Forum Talk series.
Thank you,
And
sir.
it's nice to have you. And you are part of our other forum, but it's nice to have you here as well today.
Thank you.
And I also welcome everyone tuning in from outside. And there must be people who are kind of close to Madhura who are like eager to listen to her side of, what should I say, the philosophical side of things, of her presentation side. So I hope that they have a good time today. So also we, the QW members, are also keen to hear from Madhura in her very long journey so far. What were her observations as she kind of made this path up till here? So without much ado, I think let's begin this session, and let's first give a formal introduction of our forum, the Question a Week forum, and I invite Varun Pendarkar to kindly do so. Varun, over to you.
Thank you, Anand. So the QAW Question a Week forum invites uncompromising self-inquiry. Each week, we discuss and share experiences about QAW verticals or horizontals, answered in your own words to gain clarity that reshapes life. So, what are the pillars of QAW? Fictitious I to PVM, return from the inherited persona to the physical, vital, mental integration, the true unit of existence. Sanskriti and identity, Vyaktitva, personal clarity linked with civilization strength, identity as unique expression aligned with civilizational state of Bharat and its inheritance. Pain navigation to Samatva to action, pain as the engine of growth, equanimity leading to evolution-centric action. What QAW provides? A reconnecting framework that links the modern Bharatiya with the timeless and crucially evolutionary flow of knowledge and power. An inherited philosophy platform with living verticals, Utsav rhythms, evolution thought streams, Andaman cellular jail narratives, inspired poetic forms, cross-questioning debates, modern evidence across chronology, linguistics, navigation, geopolitics, geoeconomics, and technology, and a proposal for 100 Bharatiya civilizational flashpoints, memorials of international standard. A modern execution framework for self-mastery. Materials and guidelines to help Bharatiyas weather the identity struggle. Language commitment, ongoing work in Marathi, Malayalam, Hindi. How the forum works. One topic a week, answer from lived experiences. Your words only, clarity over jargon. From self to civilization, map PVM to identity to action. The outcome, realize identity, befriend pain, and act for evolution, aligning personal mastery with the timeless arc of Sanskriti. The invited talks. These talks have twofold objective: to observe, derive general principles of QAW in manifestation Vidya of invited specialists, to create a platform of our respected specialists to express the generality of philosophy, spirituality, and civilizations hidden deep in their Vidya. I now invite Anant to talk to our esteemed guest.
Thanks, Varun. It is our bounden duty to formally introduce our invited speaker as we always do. I'm making this formal introduction and kindly listen in to the journey, the hard journey that Madhura has made so far. So let us try to get the details of how she has gotten here. So let's track it. Hailing from a family of music enthusiasts, Madhura began learning Indian classical vocals at the age of 5. Having strong support from family and teachers, she began honing her skills through listening to various senior artists, performing at various events, as well as participating in inter-school competitions of vocals and chanting Sanskrit stotras and the verses of the Bhagavad Gita. After getting a degree in economics statistics from Mumbai University, she also got the diploma of Sangeet Visharad from the prestigious Akhil Bharatiya Gandharva Mahavidyalaya under the tutelage of Pandit Bhalchandra Tilak. Pandit Tilak not only provided her a strong foundation by inculcating in her the style of Jaipur Atrauli Gharana Gayaki, but also helped her familiarize with the nuances of different styles. Along with the vocal training, Madhura also learned violin under the guidance of late Shri Hemant Pandit and performed at various intercollegiate festivals accompanying on violin as well as vocals. Meanwhile, from 2008 to 2011, Madhura received an opportunity to assist the famous music director Shri Ashok Patki in the field of composing and arranging background scores for various Marathi plays and movies. During this period, she got to work with many Marathi composers and musicians and lent backing vocals for their projects. Madhura received guidance from the esteemed Mr. Vikas Bhatodekar in the field of ghazals and light music, which helped in the holistic development as a musician. After winning the famous Sa Re Ga Ma contest held in Los Angeles, USA in 2013, Pandit Arun Dravid, one of the renowned vocalists from the Jaipur Atrauli Gharana, who happened to be one of the judges, warmly accepted her as his disciple, and that initiated her journey as a Jaipur Gharana Sadhak. Known for producing acclaimed musicians like Ustad Aladia Khan Sahab, Mallikarjun Mansur, Gan Tapaswini Mogubai Kurdikar, Surashri Kesarbai Kerkar, Gan Saraswati Kishoritai Amonkar, and Ashwini Bhide Deshpande. The Gharana is acknowledged for its complex yet melodic vocal and rhythmic patterns. Pandit Dravid, who was trained in childhood by Ustad Abdul Majid Khan Sahab and later by Kishoritai Amonkar, inculcated in her the real essence of the Gharana style, rag presentations, and refined her singing, especially in Alapi, which required more tehrav, which is stability in the performance. Madhura has given performances in Mumbai, Pune, Nashik, Ratnagiri, Goa, Ahmedabad, as well as in parts of the US like San Diego, Los Angeles, and Boston. She has also provided vocal accompaniment to prominent Kathak dancers such as Pandit Rajendra Gangani ji, Meenal Chakradev, Gauri Sukhathankar. For over a decade now, she is more focused on teaching and spreading awareness of Indian classical music. So, folks, this was a formal introduction. We had the chance to see, the various nuances or various facets of Madhura's development journey in the Gayaki so far, or Gayan Vidya, or Gayan Sadhana so far. But I will also share just one point that, I'm a student of music in a different way, and I keep asking Madhura whenever I have a problem. She's the only go-to that I have, because I'm sure that she will provide an accurate answer and which is bereft of any kind of bias. So, and each time I've received an perfect clarity and accuracy in the exact question or the doubt that I had. And she's a master of even film music. I can tell you this from experience, right from the 1920s, 1930s. Her memories and mastery over Indian cinema music is absolutely mind-boggling. This is my personal experience. Of course, apart, I do not have knowledge about Hindustani classical nor Carnatic, but I do keep asking so that I keep learning some bits and flashes here and there. So she has been a tremendous guide for me as well as I continue this journey of mine as well. So this is my 2 cents. Now, this was a formal introduction, but like a Sangeet Vidya Sadhak, this is the verbalization is not a proper introduction. So today, let us try and see whether we can introduce Madhura in her own way. Let's see. Let's try to.
So, yes, thank you, Anandada, for the kind words, and it's so lovely to see you all after a long time. Thank you for having me on board today. It's going to be a very different experience. I haven't been doing speaking that often these days, and you put me on a stage, I would sing my heart out. But something like this, I quietly go in a shell, but I try and share whatever little I know about the vast ocean of Indian classical music, and which is one of the oldest forms of music ever documented, I would say. It goes back to the times of Vedas. Um, Indian classical music is mainly based on vocal music, according to maybe it percussion or instrumental. Every other musician you will see is trying to produce the the vocal how do you say vocal texture through the instrument, uh, whether it is percussion instrument or any other string instrument or wind instrument. And it is always taken this form of music is always taken as the easiest way to what we say Ishwar Prapti, since this whole thing was created around the temple area. So you will find a lot of tehrav and emphasis on bhakti and love, that sort of rus in the music. Even if you immerse yourself deeply into listening, there is a sense of self-awakening, and it can lead to profound spiritual growth. And that is my personal opinion. The traditional Guru Shishya Parampara was something very crucial back then, and I wish it was still followed as much as they did back then. Guru revealed all the secrets and nuances, and the thorough guidance to the students in their holistic development as a sadhak, mainly as a sadhak in this whole tapasya. So it also helped in developing an inner awareness in this journey. I would go back to the times of Vedas, when only three swars, some of you may be aware of this, only three swars were mentioned in Rigved, which were Udatta, Anudatta, and Svarita. Now, what is Udatta? So, out of these three swars, Udatta is the higher note, or the pitch that we hit in the chanting or reciting stotras. Udatta, that is the higher note. Anudatta is the lower note, and Svarita is the middle note. So it was always like this. To give you an example, we find so many stotras in our culture that go like this. Ta-ra-ra, ta-ra-ra-ra, these three notes. Ta-ra-ra. So everything, all the stotras were revolving around these three notes, and were composed with the help of only and only these three notes back then. And then I think Sa was added in Yajurveda, and by the 11th century, all the 11 notes are mentioned and documented in the texts. Then the 12th note, Tivra Madhyam, was it is said that it was introduced by Amir Khusro, and which changed the entire canvas of Hindustani Shastriya Sangeet. In Raja Ramdev Rai's quote, Sharandev Sangeet Ratnakar, this text mentions almost around 265 to around 270 rags. So it is said that, it can be comfortably said that Indian classical music was very well established by the 13th century. Now coming to the whole concept of art, what is art? We all know that there is no generally agreed definition.
Madhura, can I
Yes.
just I
Yes,
interrupt you. Let's
yes, please. Yes, please.
start off before you begin there with something different. So please allow me.
Yeah.
So this was the kind of proper presentation we actually wanted to give. It was slightly late in happening, but apologies for that. So this is actually Rag Charukeshi, isn't it?
Yes,
And Pandit Abhisheki's composition and lyrics by Kusuma Grach. So this is a very hard, it's considered a very extremely hard kind of Natya Sangeet, and it's considered one of the toughest renditions, because you see how hard it is to do the thera or the stability at the highest scale for such a long time. And it's a fantastic attempt, and thank you so much, Madhura. This is the proper introduction that you deserve. So yes, now we are past that. So kindly, please proceed.
Thank you. So I think I was talking about the concept of art. So we cannot definitely claim, what we mean by art. So the definition is, it changes across the nations and across the cultures, but something that reflects our thoughts, our sentiments, emotions, I would say, or shraddha, all the beliefs. When we put all that in an output, and such human creation is providing an aesthetic experience, or there is an expression of emotion, then that piece is, we can comfortably say it is a piece of art. Now there are various forms of art that we come across. There could be visual arts, like painting, hair sculpture. There is photography. There is literary art, which is our poems, novels, prose. There is performing arts, which are our drama, plays, music performances, theater, and there is handicrafts. All these are various forms of art. But what I am mainly going to talk about today is the Abhijat Kala. Abhijat Kala, what is Abhijat Kala is basically an art that is elite in form, that is superior. Now, how we differentiate this from a normal form of art is there is something in Abhijat Kala. There is some historical depth. There are aesthetic values. There is an aesthetic artistic beauty to that, and there is a lot of scope and freedom for creative ability. There is a tantra, there is a technique, and there is science involved in the foundation, and which is very strong, and that makes the whole piece of art sustainable. Sthayitva bhava, as we say, it can be followed for generation. There is a very strong scientific foundation of tantra and shastra. Then something like that can be taken as Abhijat Kala. And it's not just about music. It is prevalent in painting, sculpture. I think the painting of Mona Lisa is a very good example of Abhijat Kala. Or most of you must have visited David, the Italian sculpture of marble, in your visit to Italy. Or take all the symphonies. European musicians, they have written all these complex patterns of symphonies and opera plays. Then in the Asian, I would say, makams, which are the melodic modes in the Middle East form of music. Or for the Persian music, they have something called as dastagas. This is their musical system, we can say, writing system. All these I'm mainly talking about international art, internationally giving examples, because Abhijat Kala is not restricted. We are talking about Abhijat Kala doesn't mean we are only restricted. This only is available in India. This is followed across the world, across the nations and cultures. So there is a scientific foundation behind each and every art which is considered as Abhijat Kala. Now, from that, what I'm mainly going to talk about today, being a musician all my life, I will be more biased towards Abhijat Sangeet part of the Kala. So that is where I'm most comfortable talking about. So Abhijat Sangeet is something that is just like Abhijat Kala. It is a byproduct. It is something that is very scholarly in nature. It is often contrasted with popular or folk style of music. The word, when we say Shastriya Sangeet, Hindustani Shastriya Sangeet, the word Shastriya itself refers to something that is very scientific. It's a form of science, and it is structured on 4 pillars. We would say there is Shastra, there is Tantra, there is Vidya, and Kala, Prastuti part of the Sangeet. Bharat Muni in the Natya Shastra says that a Kala consists of Ashtarasa, and the 9th ras was added later. These Navarasas are basically Hasya, Shringar, Bhaya, Bibhatsa, which is something that is very disgusting, Karuna, Raudra, Veer, Adbhuta, and then the 9th one, which was added later, is the Shantaras. So when Abhijat Kala strikes a conversation through all these sentiments to the audience, keeping in mind all the concepts of Graha, Amsha, Nyasa, Vadi, Vivadi, all these are basics, the principles of Abhijat Sangeet. Then there is a strong foundation of this science backing the whole form of piece of music. So these concepts define the fundamental structure and identity of a rag. Sur in Abhijat Sangeet, Sur is always taken as a language of performance. Sur is a language and Rag is a Bhav. Every Rag has its own personality, and we express the Bhav through Sur, and not with the help of Tal and verse. Sur comes first in Abhijat music, and basically classical music is very Sura Pradhan, and I would say our light music or semi-classical music, or even the light form of Indian classical, we can say even film music or bhajan hai, thumris, all these are very much Shabda Pradhan. What is Sura Pradhan or Bhava Pradhan, which is Raga Sangat, Rag system is very much Sura Pradhan and Bhava Pradhan. There is a very strong emphasis on Sur and Bhav, whereas in film music or the light music, it is Bhava Pradhan. It is mainly driven by emotions. So it is mainly dominated by words, I would say. To give you an example, I take an example of Rag Yaman. I give you 3 songs, and why I say that film music is not Bhava Pradhan or Sura Pradhan is, it is very well dominated by Shabda Pradhan. One rag, I give 3 examples. One is there is a very famous old song in Rag Yaman. आंसू भरी है ये जीवन की राहें, कोई से कह दे हमें भूल जाए. Now this whole part, as you see, you must have heard the words. It is very sad. It is karunaras, as we say. Another example I can sing. ये मूग मूग की धागे तेरी उंगली से जाओ मुझे, श्रृंगार रस है इसमें. The third example I can say is श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम. Bhakti ras. One rag, 3 ras, one tune, one identity. That is mainly Yaman is mainly very much Bhakti ras, Karuna ras, Shringar is kind of dominated. It depicts all these emotions. But how one rag, when you have different forms of lyrics, it just changes the whole vibe of a rag. That is why film music is more of Shabda Pradhan and classical music is more of Bhava Pradhan. So when rag and sur, when rag is sung with the help of sur and bhav, it is considered for a musician, any musician you may ask, it is considered as the Parabrahma. And the sadhana is just not a practice, mere a practice, but it is a journey towards Parabrahma with the help of jnana and technique and everything. So there is a revolution happening every single day. And it is always, the sur is always taken, seen as from a meditative perspective, and sadhana becomes a very fresh experience every single day. And your vyaktitva kind of reflects in your singing as you get deeper and deeper into the sadhana mode. And this whole journey demands extreme level of sacrifice and discipline. And this discipline is not just in the sadhana part. It all starts with how you breathe, how you sit, So this discipline also has a tantra involved in itself. So let me come to the first pillar, which is Shastra. Shastra, as we all know, is basically a set of rules, details. It tells us what to do and moreover what not to do. To give you an example, in Indian classical music, there is Rag Puriya and there is Rag Marava, which they use similar kind of scale or notes, as they say, but they totally have a different vibe. They have different bhav. And one should know how to differentiate Puriya from Marava. I give you an example of Puriya. So Puriya goes like this. Mere so this is Puriya, and Marava is sa ni dha ni dha. Marva has a very, it has karun ras. It is, it is taken in a very, I often go into, I often become very emotional when I listen to Marava. So a singer, a musician always should be clear about the basic concept of 2 rags, so that one rag is not mixed with the other. And for that, Shastra part should be taken very seriously. In the Shastra now, it also includes auditory training. We say Shravana Bhakti. There is a very good term in Sanskrit for that, Shravana Bhakti. That there is active and mindful listening involved. You just don't listen to music just like that, while working and all, while having your meals. There is mindful listening. You have to watch all the performances. You have to, watch the discussions, the debates. There is a writers, who all must have gone through this short phase of, what they call as writer's block in Nirmiti, in the production phase, when there is a temporary inability to produce anything new or anything fresh, and there is a significant slowdown in the process. So in this stagnant phase, listening helps. There is a very famous shair, Vakar Tahiri Sadhana. This reminds me of his shairi. He says, "जाग उठे सन्नाटा ऐसा राग आला, साथ न दे आवाज तो फिर संगीत सुन." When there is nothing coming out of you, one should just sit and listen to a good piece of music, a very good, very peaceful piece of music to, awaken that inner sense in you. Correct. So something like this we all experience. There is a whole river drying inside you, and you somehow find your answer somewhere else. So this is exactly why the auditory training is also important. I ask you one thing. Give you a short assignment to you all. Can any one of you show me how to jump from sa to mo? Just try. I mean, don't be shy. Come on. And I'm pretty sure most of you must be doing that right now, as you all are muted in your head. You must be jumping from sa to ma. I'm quite sure. Anybody wants to try that? Never mind. Anybody wants to sing this song for me? This is a very, very famous song. We all sing it almost 6 to 8 times during a year, and we all have practiced this song since our childhood, and the song is Happy Birthday to You. Anybody wants to try this song? Come on.
Come on, guys.
Not the entire song, at least the first line, Happy Birthday to You. Give me that song. Give me the first line. Anybody?
Come on, guys, somebody.
Somebody?
I'll go.
Yes, please.
Okay. Happy birthday to you.
Correct. Very good, Neeraj. Very good. See, what happened when I asked you to jump from sa to ma?
Sa to ma.
Just skip re and ga. Just sa to ma. Did it sound very technical to you?
Yeah.
Correct. So this is what I say. Why I say that auditory training is important. You have been listening to this song since childhood and singing this so many times that you don't realize that when you sing Happy Birthday to You, sa re sa ma ga sa ma, Happy Birthday to. This is the jump from sa to ma. So this is exactly what we do, what we have been listening. Can anybody jump from sa to dha? Nobody will sing. I know. Can anybody sing this song, Lag Ja Gale, for me?
It is
Sudarshan, come
sung
on.
by a female. Oh, yeah, Sudarshan can probably. Yes.
Come on, Sudarshan. I'm counting on you.
Sorry,
So anyway, so that song, never mind. Oh, you're Preeti singing. Oh
no.
no, I was just asking which song.
Lag Ja Gale.
Oh, okay. No, carry on, please.
So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Sudarshan, you can, and all of you can sing this song. Lage ja, which is the jump from sa to dha. You all have been doing. You must have hummed this song. What a brilliant composition. We all love this song. This is the jump I was talking about when I say jumping from sa to ma, sa to dha. Lage ja gale sa dha pa dha. We all have been doing, but when I get technical, that barrier comes when there is a technique involved. The Shastra part, this auditory training has to happen strongly so that our listening, the grasping is developed in the whole process of sadhana. It is very important. I would say in the first formative years, children must listen to good piece of music. I'm not saying just Indian classical. It could be Western classical. It could be jazz. Certain many other forms of music. But as long as it is a very good piece of music, that Shravan Sanskar have to happen to all the kids. So this is the Shastra part that I was talking about. Next
So-
comes Tantra. Yes.
So actually, since of course I do not have basis in classical music, but because I was exposed to music from very young age, this bhava is developed very easily in a person. And whatever serious things you want to do in life, unless you have bhava, you cannot connect with any other person, let alone event. You cannot connect with any other person. If bhav is missing in you, you just cannot expect to connect with another. And this is the very important contribution of listening to music from a very young
Absolutely.
age.
This reminds me of what Madan Mohan Saab once said. फनकार का जज्बाती होना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर उसमें जज्बात कम हो तो वो सही फनकार नहीं बन सकता. You have to have that element in you to produce Sangeet. Gana is not Sangeet. It becomes Sangeet when you put all the emotions inside. Otherwise it is just a technical presentation. मैं गा तो सब सकते हैं, but when there is भाव, जब भाव उतरता है उसमें, that's when it becomes Sangeet. That's when it moves you. So that's why this whole bhav part, and you know what, it cannot be taught. Unfortunately, technique can be taught, vidya can be taught. Everything is available at your finger points, your fingertips today. Internet. How will one teach bhav? Bhav kaise se? Bhav, no, one has to feel that within, and for that, one has to go deeper and deeper, and get all your answers through somewhere else. It could be discussions, it could be other people's performing, it could be you performing and then listening to yourself, what is lacking, what needs to be improved and stuff like that. So that is the self-study also that is involved in the Shastra part.
Madhura, some people are asking questions. Is this the right time for it, or would you like it to be this way? Chalega, na?
Of course,
Yeah.
please.
So Sudarshan, please first.
Yes,
Yes.
Sudarshan.
No, I was just wondering, Madhura, you were saying like the Shastra, the technique of trying to map a song to the actual notes. I mean, so a lot of this, of course, comes naturally, right? So when you're singing, you don't think about it, and you're following the rhythm, you're following the music, you modulate quite naturally. So I'm just kind of curious. So when you're listening to songs, are you always mapping these songs to just like the notes that you described, and you always have like two layers of the song going on in your head, the actual melody, and one, how is it actually tying down to the specific notes? Or is that just a background for you to do practice at Riyas and you can actually move through the song? Just curious.
That is a very popular debate among musicians, all the musicians. I'm not just talking about vocalists, the instrumentalists, the percussionists and all. What one hears the first in a piece of music. So as vocalists, often go for the sur part, the melody part in it. We first capture the melody. If you ask the same question to a percussionist, it will first go for the background score. What is happening in the background? How it is arranged? All entire structure of the music. If you ask an instrumental player, it could be violin or piano, anything. He will listen to the harmonies that are played, the chord system. So it differs. But for me, as a vocalist, melody comes first. When I listen to any song, melody part comes first. I first grasp the tune of any new song, and uske baad simultaneously I'm also listening to words. But as a vocalist, the background score and chord system and other things, which other instruments are used and what are they doing in the background, there is so much happening in the background. Sometimes when you see highly arranged scores, like take all the Shankar Jaikishan songs or even Ismail Darbar Pritam, there is so much happening in the background. Whole crew, they have a crew of 40 violinists and pura brass section hai, percussion section hai. There is so much happening in the background. But as a vocalist, my first instinct is to listen to the melody and then the wording. because that is also what a vocalist has to have a very good sense of literary art as well, according to me. But I think as a musician would go for the background score and chord system. But that's a personal opinion.
Thanks. One more person, Mandar Kelkar. Please go ahead. With the
Yes,
question.
please.
Namaste, Madhura.
Namaste.
See, I have been learning Indian classical for a few years. Okay, on harmonium, of course, Somadini, and able to perform, able to render the bandish in Madhyalaya, even Bada Khyal, reasonably okay based on the notations taught and of course the Abhyaskaram, right, of Gandharva Mahavidyalaya. However, there is a particular problem that I face, okay, because I still find it very difficult to decipher the swaras behind a tune, okay. And I have been listening to songs and including classical for a long time since my childhood. Okay, so there is reasonably okay sanskar in terms of hearing, okay, and
Correct.
auditory.
Correct. Correct.
And reading and deciphering notations, understanding tals and sum and kal is okay. Okay. However, this particular area is very difficult to crack. And maybe if you can guide in any way, either here or maybe offline, that would be good.
Correct. We can
What
always.
may be that factor that is hindering the deciphering of the swaras behind it.
So basically, you are trying to get the notation of a given piece,
Correct.
right? So it is difficult
Correct.
to find the notation. Okay, that's
Correct.
okay. Yes, yes. So I think for that, the basic, the basic exercise, as we call on, I mean
The paltage.
paltas, exactly. The alankar
Right.
paltas. I think that part has to be done excessively in a rigorous way. I mean, that's what we all have, we vocalists all have been doing. I give you an example. I for 6 years with Pandit Dravid, I was doing only two rags, which was one was Yaman and one was Todi. And all this while, the first few minutes were spent only on Aroha and Avroha. Only on Aroha. So like, Yaman, he did not even move on till my Tibrama or, Nisha while coming down, Sa was hitting. So I think Aroha and Avroha, in case of rags, but in general for paltas and alankars, each and every palta has to be now certain alankars, right? So, for jumping, sa sare sare sa sare sare ga sare ga ma ba da ni sa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Now what we are doing is going down, coming down, jumping, or going up, jumping back. All this lot of hopping has to be done so that the frequencies are set. So that we when a note, we hit a note, one should be able to recognize. Now given a sa, challenge yourself, whatever note you hear, whether it is no or po, given a command. Now if I ask you now sa, suppose this is a sa, if I say na, which note this could be?
Pancham, maybe?
Dhaivat. Correct.
Okay.
So either you can
That was
come
close.
down
Okay.
from the higher sa. Now if it is sa, you can. Now I know that you could analyze that this is a higher note. It cannot be lower than madhyam also. So quickly, what I would say is jump up to the higher sa. If is sa is the lower sa, sa is the higher sa. In your head, you can quietly come no. If this is the note that is given, it could be probably lower. But yeah, your I think calculation was almost correct. It could be somewhere around per. So I think for me, hopping helps. And this is a personal experience. Hopping helps in recognizing what is played, the notation system. And for that, all the bandishes, this part I keep telling my students, it is taken in a very, it is very underestimated part of the learning. One has to know the bandish by notation. Ek bar aap word bhul jao, that is fine. One should not, and all the rags, you have to know the Sargamgeet part and the Lakshangeet to know what the rag is. The Sargam is the introduction of the rag. Every rag should be taught with the Sargam Geet and then the Bandish, so that the Sargam Geet just gives you a feel of the rag, you know. So for a Bandish also, you have to know the entire Bandish by notation first, so that the rag you have absorbed enough, so that and such that, you know, on a line. If this is the line, you should be, you know, you should have practice. One should practice this whole aroha, avroha, and paltas in Yaman such that, you know, this jump should be, one should be able to guess this jump. And it just comes to you the more deeper and deeper you go in that rag. You know, you start getting the bhav of it. We can totally, you know, connect.
I will connect with you.
Yes.
Just one small point I will share and won't take a lot of time.
Yes, please.
You know, because I also study, I'm also a spiritual student. There is some clue I found, you know, during my study of few other materials, is that, you know, one cannot use one's intellect and mind at the same time. You know, what happens to me is that whenever I listen to a good song or a good bandish, good rendition, I get immersed in it using my mind. I love it so much that my intellect doesn't come into play, that I fail to sort of recognize, you know, ये start kahan ho raha hai, sam se uthavan hai ya kal se hai, and I think that's little struggle I'm trying to get over. But thanks for I think
I would say no,
connect
for
with you.
that I would say just put a tintal. If you have an app, you know, tabla
I
app,
have an app, yes.
or you have multiple links available on YouTube also. Just play tintal, and we all know it is 8 plus 8, so you can
Yes. Based on that tal, yeah.
Entire thing will fit in one cycle. So the more you do this, you just keep doing this at a slower speed, and, you know, gradually you increase speed. This what helped me is I used to just play tabla in the background and do my stuff, so that you know, bowls, you get the sound of each and every bowl. Like tha has a lot of beat, but tin is very sharp. So all this, how we recognize notes, one should be able to recognize the bowls as well. So that you recognize where khali is, where some, you know, all this lot of in the Vilambit portion also, one has to recognize where the Therakita is happening, so that you can you know, pick up your bandishan on the next beat. You know, all this, for this lot of tal riyaz also needs to be done along with the
Madhura, let's proceed. I would request.
Thank you.
Let's proceed. It is great.
Definitely.
I mean, no, this is fantastic. I mean, taking questions in the middle has its own values, because it adds some spice and refreshing element to the presentation. That is there. But let's try to keep it short. I will request both the questioners and also our esteemed speaker to keep the response also sharp and clear, and so that we can move ahead in the content. Because I mean, not everybody here is like a Sangeet student.
Yes, I can always connect.
We are trying to extract the generic principles from this. So kindly keep to the This is my
so let me move on to the next pillar, which is Tantra. You know, this is an important aspect of foundation of Indian classical. After Shastra, we have Tantra, which is the basic technique involved in the performance. And this Tantra, as I said earlier, it doesn't start with hitting notes, you know, practicing your sur. First of all, sitting. The Tantra starts with sitting. How you sit, you know, sitting straight, torso upright, relaxed, you know, your chin should be parallel to the ground. All these things are very crucial in the performance stage. You know, how for a violinist it could be how to hold a bow, you know, at what angle. There are four angles for four strings. So each and every angle, that is a technique involved. For a painter, it could be how to hold a brush, you know, how much stress one should put on the tip of the brush. And this applies to tabla players as well, how much stress on each of the holes. So all this is a part of Tantra. Then comes the technique that is involved in breathing. See, our windpipe is nothing but a straw, you know, air moves up and down. So what happens when we close the straw, the juice will not go up or down. The juice has to travel up or down. That's what happens when we are sitting like this. So for breathing also, one sitting straight is the first thing, and sustaining, so that you're in the tantra of sustaining the note, that sadhana should be taken seriously, so that lung power is one thing, but then that in that tantra your voice should not shake. Or for a player also, once you hit a note, you should be able to produce a part that is not shaky. So for that, different sort of tantra techniques are involved in that. For a gayak, for a vocalist, hitting sa with the correct sort of akar. Lot of people do, so that is so, enough, if enough a is not made, then that it sounds different, and also the enough sort of air is also not passing through your voice, and then it becomes nasal, and that's another part. But in the tantra part, correct akar, ukar, ikar, all this study is done. Then your voice projection, how powerfully, or how softly one should sing certain lines and certain words, your pronunciation, your vowels and consonants, which letter of which word should be sustained. To give you an example, Rag Tilak Kambo, there is a bandish, very famous bandish. Neera bharana kaise jaun sakhiri ab. Now, Neera is allowed, but if I say Neera, I cannot sustain Ra. So a musician should know which letter can be sustained. Of course, I will be technically right, but it is grammatically incorrect. So that part also should be studied. Pandit Suresh Talwalkar made a very interesting statement. He says, master the technique and forget the technique. One should learn the technique, master the technique, and forget the technique. So that technique is not dominating your art. In your prastuti period, the technique should not dominate. It should aid in the expression, but it should not dominate the art. And that's where exactly the Bhava part comes and sits on the technique, literally, so that the prastuti is wholesome. And but one, of course, an artist needs to be technically perfect for that. Pehle sahi gana chahiye, fir acha gana chahiye, jo bolta hai. So the third pillar is Vidya. Vidya is basically nothing but a huge repertoire of rag, bandishes, different sort of tal patterns, and gaiki hai, other styles. So it is so vast that nobody can claim that I have achieved all of it in one lifetime. The more you know, know that how less you know. So it is that stage of sadhana where it is something just to be grasped. It is passed on, and it's passed on very generously. It is Guru's duty to pass it on generously to students, and it is students' duty as well to be at a level so that Guru is also inspired to pass it on to a student. As we all say, as Santa Jnaneshwar, his line in Pasayatan, it often reminds me, Martanda je tapahina. Martanda is the sun. Tapahina is something that is not harsh. A guru as bright as the sun, but not very harsh. That is the ideal form of guru. Dr. Dravid, this is a personal experience. I mean, I as a kid was very active, chanchal sort of kid, always, focusing on multiple things, doing multiple things, even in my school days, college days, So that had become my nature. So when I started my journey in Jaipur Atrauli Gharana, he never made it a point that, this is lacking in your voice, this is lacking in your singing. But I somehow realized in his company that this whole part of Thera, which is expected in Jaipur Gayaki, was missing in me. I mean, I was not able to, there was no Shanti part in my singing there, and that I somehow realized in his company. He never had to show me. So that is the ideal nature of Guru. Santa Kabir says, "Sab dharti kagaz karo, likhni sab ban raha hai." You turn the entire land into kagaz, and pura jungle, if you turn it into a likhni, sab सात समुद्र की मसी करो, मसी is the ink, सात समुद्र की मसी करो, गुरु गुण लिखा ना जाए. That is the role of a guru. And passing on the vidya is the foremost duty of the guru. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's like a river. It's a river of bandishes. It has to, and rags, of course, it has to keep flowing. And one learns style or different styles and gaiki in the vidya part. So vidya part is also important because a musician who is very much technically perfect and aesthetically gifted, very talented, but if vidya part is not taken seriously, then a musician can start sounding very much monotonous in the prastuti stage. So as they say, if you are going on a rabbit hunt, the practice should be done at a level of lion hunt, so that the rabbit, there is a success in rabbit hunt. So it's exactly this is what happens in the Vidya stage. Vidya is infinite. One has to keep exploring the unexplored through one's own performances as well, and not just listening to other people. When the practice, this experience through performance is also very vital in this whole sadhana. One mistake I have seen a lot of people do, they rush into presenting. मुझे गाना सीखना है. I want to learn music because I want to go and present somewhere in a get together or in a small baitak. I think that's a very wrong approach at learning anything, I would say. I heard of a very good theory. When money gets credited into account, we suddenly start planning, abhi iska bill bharna hai, I have to pay off these bills, I have to plan this trip, then I have to buy all these things for a house, like perfect time pe paisa aa gaya. No, we start planning, but we fail to absorb that energy jo Lakshmi ghar pe aayi hai. If the guests come, enter the house, if we at the same time, if we ask चाय पी के जाएंगे या खाना भी खाने का प्लान है वगैरह, इतना अगर होगा तो the guest will never enter. That is the energy that a Lakshmi carries with herself, and one has to absorb that energy. People are learning to perform. I will be very honest. People want to perform, and that's why they want to learn. They don't want to learn to they don't look at it from the meditative perspective. One has to delve on the new ideas and welcome every new idea. It is like our digestive process, how we eat every morsel, we chew and chew and chew so that it is digested very well and the health is maintained. So every little idea is like that. One has to go deeper and deeper and hover around them so that something good is manifested and something bigger than expected is coming out of us. So
Madhura,
yes.
can I interrupt you?
Yes.
Couple of questions we have. Let's try to entertain them.
Yes.
Aditya, please go.
I'll go first. So my question is about, we have heard that there are different rags for different times of the day, morning, evening, and night, afternoon maybe. So what is the science behind that?
So I'll be coming to that actually, Aditya. Do you want me to explain
Okay,
that?
sure. We can wait. No problem.
Okay. Because that comes in the, I think, another performance part and later. I'll be talking about in the science part. I'm going to cover all that.
Sure.
Okay.
Varun has a question. Varun, please go ahead.
I have a question, but mine is not about the technique, but as just you were describing all the different technicalities, and they sounded very complex. I don't have musical background, but when you're performing, what is the state? Like, are you thinking about all these theory? Are you thinking about the audience? Like when I've heard the state, like everything else kind of disappears. Can you just talk a little bit about, your sort of...
Yeah, that
like,
is true.
peak performance?
Everything just disappears, and I sit with a blank mind. I'll be very honest. I don't see the audience. Thankfully, we have a practice of keeping the lights off in the audience, but I'm not looking at. I mean, if you ask me, I'm not looking at the audience. I have a point in the audience, and I keep looking there. Of course, I'm like, nazar yahan wahan phirti to hai hi. But then, something else is going on in the background. And that is difficult to explain what the state of mind is while performing, but it is totally blank. You just keep thinking about the next line and what else one can. It's basically nothing but the thinking about and analyzing the improvisations that are coming in the next lines, probably.
So you're in
uh,
a different state, though. That is what you're kind of saying.
yes,
So everything
yes,
else
yes.
disappears. Just
There,
music is just flowing.
everything else disappears. I'm not. It is very difficult to explain what happens. But you don't literally see anybody. Only the ears are open because a singer has to do multiple things and listen to. It is a multitasking. Singing is being the lead. If it is singing or playing an instrument, it is a multitasking job. One has to listen to the tanpuras, the suits given or the percussion. There's so many things happening. Your cues also, they are giving you cues, you are giving them cues. A lot of things happening in the background. So like the mind is totally blank and is focused on the coming lines. But that this is exactly why the Shastra and Vidya part should be so strong. The foundation has to be so strong. Um, that is the lion hunt part of the whole rabbit hunt performance, so that one doesn't go blank.
Yeah. Amit, please go ahead.
Yeah, just a follow up, Madhura. Hi.
Hi,
Um,
Amit.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So, Madhura, follow up to what Varun was also asking. Like one of the things, like you said, I think you are intensely in the moment there. You're not really focusing on the crowd. Kind of
Correct,
everything
correct,
disappears, and
correct.
that intense focus, right? Does it just come from continuous music practice, or you do something else? Like, for example, and I'm new to this group. Anand has mentioned, doing solitude training, right? Like just sit 5 minutes solitude, not doing anything. Do you do anything like that, or this is just musical practice day in and out, which kind of gets into that intense mode for you?
It is just the musical practice. If you ask me, for me, it is just the musical practice, and that musical practice only happens in solitude. Even if you are not doing anything, the practice happens in the mind. You are constantly thinking about a piece of music that you are going to perform. You're like right now also, while before I was giving this lecture, like for so many weeks, I was only constantly thinking about the different sort of aspects and topics I could discuss today, uh, keeping in my mind that you all are beginners. So I didn't mean to go into details and sound very technical. So this is what is happening on stage also. It is when I say my mind is blank, nothing is, I'm not thinking about anybody, any future things. So it is only about the practice that I have done. It is you just live in that moment. जो आता है, for that the practice has to be so rigorous that you just know what is coming. इसके बाद के line पे what you are going to, different improvisations you do, but which improvisation has to come in the next part, all that thinking is happening on stage.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Please proceed. Yeah.
So that's what in the as I said, in the Vidya part, one has to focus on every new aspect, every new idea. I mean, writers cannot think of, and when you have Varun would agree, when you have a new idea, a new script, a writer cannot think of अरे मैं कैसे sell करूंगा, how about marketing, and selling phase of this book. You have to first sit and work on your script, and think how you can manifest this into a novel or a movie or whatever it is. So same applies to Vidya. One rag for a long, long time. This one rag, every rag has its own personality. They are just like us, exactly like us. The more you go deeper and deeper into a rag, one particular rag, it is like meeting a person. You cannot judge a person in the first meeting. You just don't know. In the second meeting, you start knowing stuff. In the third meeting, the person seems different. The fourth meeting, you get closer, and you start knowing about a person. Other aspects of that person as you go deeper and as you start meeting. So one has to meet one particular log often for a longer and longer time, so that you get the exact essence of the bhava and the personality of the rag. So that part is done in the Shastra part, Vidya part, sorry. And the fourth pillar, we talked about Shastra, Tantra and Vidya. And the fourth pillar is performance. Now, Shastra and Vidya is something that one can imbibe. It requires a lot of memorizing and understanding and analyzing. It has to do some with all that, all those things. But performance, the Tantra is again something that is executed by the body. You learn a technique and then you just have to follow that, execute that in your prastuti. So a sadhak is ready for a performance prastuti only after taking sincere efforts and rigorous sadhana in the first three stages. A complete performer has to strike a balance between all these four pillars. And that needs a lot of atmachintan, introspection, as we say, through, it could be through observation or in constant company of your guru, and most importantly, sanskar of both Shravan Sanskar and Prastuti Sanskar as well. You also have to keep performing. It's like you just have to keep listening, perform and listen to yourself also. So you have to, one has to awaken a guru within you to, and just look at your art very neutrally. You have to take yourself out of it and look at your art from a neutral perspective. So Shravan and Prastuti, all two things are very important. So however knowledgeable an artist is, if he's not technically perfect, and until and unless he is not able to please even one person in the audience, he cannot become a great artist. And then all the first three pillars, all the study done in the first three stages is in Vyartha hazard. So everything is in vain. So one has to know the audience. Samarth Ramdas says, it's in Marathi, but Vidya udandachi shikala prasangamana sukoni gela magataya videla konu puse. You have gained all the knowledge, but if one doesn't know how to deliver that and the right time to deliver that, what I say is one needs to know the audience. If one doesn't know that, where and what to perform, then that entire Vidya gain, that knowledge is of no use to anybody, even to you. So Kala just doesn't apply to art. And let me come to the science part of art. There is a very famous quote you must have heard. If one can sweep the floor with supreme level of creativity and just sing a song with no creativity at all, as they say. So there is art in everything. It's just not restricted to music part or other forms of art. We know people, they sing with so many emotions there, and hand gestures, their whole body is involved, but they are technically imperfect. But to give you an example, now the art part in the science is, a few months ago, my daughter fell and she got stitches. Whenever I look at those stitches, those perfect sutures, I think I admire those hands. Such perfect sutures. That is the Kala part in science, I feel. All the apps that we are using, the interface, all these scientists must have been very good artists, first of all, to be a good scientist. So that is the art part that is involved in you, that trickles down in the scientific study. So and now let me come to the science part in the art. So what Aditya was asking me, so all these complex rhythmic patterns, picking up tans, different sort of tans and alaps on one particular beat, and yet ending all these things on the right beat, so that you pick up your bandish on the first matra or ninth matra. All these things, it may sound complex right now, but it all involves great sense of mathematics. A musician has to be good at maths as well. And this is not about number, it's just a sense of maths. Like sun ke, as Mandar Dada was saying, picking up a bandish on a particular beat and leaving it on a particular, starting your alas. For that maths part one has to work on the different complex patterns of that to gain that maths knowledge. Then there are, I would request Ananda to present one picture of Sur, how every Sur is associated with the body chakras. Do you have that?
Yeah, just one. Yes.
So we all know that there are 7 notes, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni. And we have 7 chakras as well in the body. Muladhar, Swadhistham, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddha, Ajna and Sahasra Chakra. So all these 7, so each sur corresponds to a particular chakra, and it potentially activates the energy points and balancing and promoting the whole harmony within the body's energetic system. So a lot of study is done on this process as well. The Sa is when you sing Sa, and when you're concentrating on your Miladhar chakra, it has a different impact on your body. Re goes to Swadhisthana, then go to Manipur, and stuff like that is how you go up the Sahasra chakra. Another concept in Rag, as Aditya was asking, the Samay Chakra. Can we have that picture, please?
Yes. Should I stop sharing this?
Please. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
So the Samay Chakra, basically, let me tell you, this is a concept that associates specific rags with a particular time of the day and night. It is used for peak emotional and physiological effectiveness, basically. So modern research shows how specific rags can influence brain waves and emotions and the whole Ayurvedic doshas of your body. As you can see, there is a whole day of 24 hours is divided into 8 prahars, 8 octaves, 3 hours each, and there are rags that are associated in each of the prahar to that it just it triggers, it evokes certain sort of emotion and points, energetic points within the body, and then there are benefits like improved focus, mood regulation here. If there is stress reduction, there's a lot of study that has involved in how a certain rag is helping in curing certain diseases, like Bhagyeshri cures hypertension, and then we have Rag Jaunpuri for depression and headache, or we have Asabri for respiratory issues, we have Bhairav for throat issues. So all this is involved in this part. Aditya, do you have any questions here actually?
No, I got the answer. So basically, each rag, depending upon the time of the day,
Depending upon the time, I would have liked to go into detail and why that one rag is allotted to that time, but I think that will be very technical, so I can talk to you in person if
Sure.
you're interested. Yeah, there is a lot of Komal notes and Tibra Madhyam involved in this. Why one rag is the morning rag, and why one is sung in the night or in the evening. A lot of technical things involved in that. So I can get back to you on that in person.
Sure.
So,
This-
Madhura,
Yes.
I had a quick observation on this, that we have these 12 types of, what should I say, bhavas in the 12 praharas, right? There are 12,
Ashtaprahar.
isn't it? No. 12 आहेत ना?
8 प्रहर 12
नाही 12 आहेत. हो 12 आहेत. 2 तासांचा एक प्रहर घेतलाय त्यांनी ह्याच्यामध्ये.
Okay, so basically this entire it is called Ashtaprahar basically.
Ashtaprahar, I know, but that doesn't matter. I mean, what I'm saying is,
maybe they have
if there are 12 bhavs, yes, let us say there are 12 bhavs as per the 12
Correct.
praharas.
Correct.
Even I was just, it is interesting because I was just listening to Ustad Tariq Khan Sahab, the great tabla player. So he was asked this question impromptu by somebody, that there are, okay, Saptaswar is there, but 6 in the lower octave, 6 in the higher. So totally 12 notes, basically, 12 distinct notes.
Correct.
So he asked him, can you say how many distinct beats there are in tabla? So on the spur of the moment, Tariq Khan Sahab, he said, let me just think. Nobody had asked me this question before. And he identified 10 on the daya, that is the tabla, and do on the baya. He said, chalo, this is also 12. And it is fantastic. Means
Yes, very interesting.
Yes.
Never thought
Just
about
today morning only I said that this is fantastic. It just matched this 12 bhav, 12
Yes,
swar,
yes.
and then 12
very
yes,
interesting
beats
theory.
also.
Please
Anyway,
share
let's-
if you find it again.
I will share with you.
So this whole concept of Samay Chakra and how this whole thing makes an impact on human mind. There is a documented incident. I mean, you can totally Google and check it out. Pandit Omkarnath Thakur was on a Rome tour, and he was performing at various places. And towards the end of his tour, he received a letter from Venetian palace, and he opened and he saw it was from Benito Mussolini. And then he was invited for dinner to his palace. He went, and then he found out that it was an invitation mainly to discuss about the effect of Indian classical on the human mind. And Mussolini requested him to play a rag for him. So it was kind of a personal battle, where Pandit Thakur was playing for Mussolini. And if I'm not mistaken, he played Hindul, which this rag depicts courage. It has a very much of Raudra ras involved in the nature. So towards the performance, Pandit Thakur noticed that Mussolini was sweating and so much, and his face had turned pink, his eyes were swollen, and that was the impact Mussolini, he realized, he understood how the Indian classical rag system, it all makes an impact on human mind. And then not many people know that he used to play very good violinist. He was Mussolini, so he played a piece of Mozart also for Pandit Thakur. That's a different story. But not just human mind, on animals and plants also this, and there is a study done on this. If I'm not mistaken, Raja Kudav Singh, or if I am taking the name right, from 18th century, from Rajasthan, I feel. He used to play Pakhavaj, and he used to play a specific pattern of Gajparan. So what is Gajparan is, Gaja is Hathi, elephant. And Paran is a particular piece of percussion. The percussionist, they often play this. So Gajparan, so whenever he used to play this Gajparan on the Pakhavaj, it used to drive all the elephants crazy. So there is an effect on animals as well. We all must have heard of the stories of Mia Tansen presenting Rag Deepak, and how the lamps began to light up and there was heat everywhere, and so that his daughter had to sing Megh Mallar, and that brought clouds and thunder and started raining and all that. So that is how nature only manifests the bhav of and essence of the rag. And because the human mind is of course linked to nature each and every time, and that is the main principle of behind the Samay Chakra, so that the rags are allotted so that there is a maximum impact on human mind at that time when the rag is sung at that particular time.
Madhura, I had also heard one story about Pandit Ravi Shankar's first wife. What was her name?
Annapurna Devi.
Annapurna Devi. So Annapurna Devi was also a great connoisseur, and I think she was Shishya of which master? Aladi. And I think she was doing Bageshri or Malkaus, one of the two. And then one day, suddenly the master came running from inside the house. He said she was sitting under a tree and practicing. And he said, no, stop right now. She said, what? I have made a mistake. She immediately prostrated. No, he said, not. You have attained Siddhi in that rag. So from today, I forbid you to start sing that rag anymore. I think it was one of these Malkaus or Bageshri or something like that. So that the tree under which she was sitting started shaking, and suddenly he said, no, you have attained Siddhi now. Now you have to stop singing that rag. This is latest experience. It is documented.
Yes. I mean, then this does not it is not restricted to Indian classical music only. I'm not saying this only. There are certain songs also that we listen to and we feel low, or we feel blissful, or it could be, certain emotions are triggered inside us. And I think there is and this is my personal experience, where the technique is not involved, and yet certain emotions are triggered. It must have happened to you all. Whenever we listen to the crescendo part, crescendo basically is the climax part of the bhajans, the ending part, it could be something like Jai Jai Ram, Krishna Hari, Jai Jai Ram, or Jai Jai Vitthal, Jai Hari Vitthal, all that, the ending part of any bhajan, we just feel that connection to the divine, with that intensity in the climax, in that particular piece of a song, we become one with that piece. We become one with the music. Your whole PVM is involved. Your intellect, your senses. So your voice is raised. Your eyes are closed. you are clapping, you are keeping up with the rhythm simultaneously. And this is the, I think, only time where the technique is not involved in the singing, and yet the art moves you. That is the power of music. So I'm not saying technique is the most important. It is a vital part in the sadhana, but this is the only thing where the technique is not involved, and yet music moves you.
Great. Great.
So let me go to the Nirmiti part.
Should I stop presenting this one, Madhura?
Yes, please, yes.
Yes.
So in the Nirmiti part, basically, one has to keep coming up, of course, with different sort of permutation combinations that evoke the correct sort of mood in a rag, so that the real essence of a rag is presented. Indian classical music is very much Nada Swarup. So under the broader sense of Nad, I would say it encompasses almost all the types of Nad. It could be melodic or non-melodic, soothing, harsh, whatever it could be, which is mainly is called ahatanad in classical music. Ahat is something that is audible to a human ear, and anahatanad is something that is not audible to a human ear. I don't know what that is. It is a sound of cosmos or universe. I don't know. But for me, anahat, what is anahatanad? You ask me. For me, this is a personal opinion. If you just close your eyes and close your ears, whatever you feel inside, whatever you hear inside, I think that is the anahatanad for me. But of course, that anahatanad is not useful in the process of Nirmiti for music, basically. So the whole the concept of music is very much Nadaswarup, and that is how it leads to the concepts of Shruti and Swar. So for Nirmiti, one has to understand the Swara Bhasha and Rasa Bhasha. How Gandhar is Ga is Karuna in music, Re is Raudra. So just like this Tala Bhasha is a different aspect, how different Tal they stimulate and support the Bhav. When it comes to Swar, one Swar can change the entire Bhav and mood of the Rag. If you take Bhoop, which is very much tranquil and very devotional, it goes like sa re ga pa da sa da pa ga re sa. If you change that ga to ma, sa re ma pa da sa da pa ma re sa, this becomes Durga, which is very much heroic in nature. So one sur also can change the whole bhav. I give you an example of Rag Yaman and Rag Purya Dhanashri. In the song Moha Moha Ke Dhake, it's a very wise blend of two rags. Yaman goes like ni re ga ma da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Purya Dhanashri has the same notes. When you make that re and the komal flattened version of ni re ga ma da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. So ye moh ki dhage tara ra 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 la 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 da ra 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 ra. This exactly where Yaman becomes Purya Dhanashri. So how one note can change the entire bhav vibe of that rag. So all that part is taken into consideration in the Nirmiti process also. So one has to learn the Swara Bhasha, the basic notation system. And this Nirmiti can happen anywhere, in your sleep also. There are so many times I remember from Ashok Kaka, when I was assisting him, I used to think of, we were supposed to come up with different sort of how to say background scores, happy scores, sad scores, shadi chal rahi hai, then divorce happening, this happening, that happening. So for every scene there is a different piece that is played. So often in my sleep I used to think of certain phrases, and I quickly in sleep used to record and keep it noted somewhere. So Nirmiti can happen anywhere, while you're driving, while you're having meals, on your work. But the sadhana for Nirmiti is constant. Once Pandit Chaurasia was asked in an interview that whether he does any specific breathing practices for to play flute, and how simply he said, I play flute. That is the constant sadhana, that is the constant Nirmiti sadhana. And there is a variable part also involved, which gives you more flexibility in the representation of of a rag, and there is a lot of experimenting and recreating, scrapping old ideas. All that is also happening in the Nirmiti part. But Sant Tulsidas, how he says that, parahita bada dharma hai. Parahita, serving others, bada dharma hai. Exactly what you doctors or engineers or teachers are doing. But Atma Sukha is something that is only that element you only get out of Nirmiti. So that is for Atma Chintan. Music is, as Shamvita said, music is Swanta Sukhaya. You have to take pleasure in it. So Atma Sukh agar kisme hai, to that is the Nirmiti part that gives you that element of Atma Sukh. And when your experience and all the knowledge you have gained, and when you take all that and put various sort of emotions in your piece, then that is the source of Nirmiti. That is the origin of Abhijat Kala. And then there is a whole scope of improvement and recreation. There is a lot of freedom. So when there is Tantra and Anubhav before Prastuti, that is where the Abhijat Kala is emerged, one can say. So Tantra and Anubhav before Prastuti, and not just one should not directly jump onto the Prastuti. I want to learn because I want to perform. No, that is a wrong approach. So this entire process is very esoteric, very strange. Just a good bolte hain hum. So music is always seen as a. You want to say something, Ananda?
Yes, I had a quick question. We had these four foundations, basically, Tantra, Shastra, Sadhana, and
Correct.
Yes. So, is there a concept of Siddhi which is talked about in the transmission of knowledge from Guru to Shishya in Gayan Parampara? Is this ever talked about? Do Gurus even talk about it, like what they've heard? Or is there something like this that you've heard?
See, I personally take Ghana Saraswati Kishori Amonkar. I think she's like a Santa in this. I take like a modern day Santa in this whole
Yes.
field of Indian classical. So
Yes.
I haven't really come across anyone talking about the Siddhi part in the sadhana. But so whatever experience she has shared, I wish for all of us that even we could, experience that even 1% of what she has experienced, like great artist. So
Thank you.
so I would love to talk about this with someone, but no, that is something that is not much discussed and explored in the whole tradition of Guru Shishya.
Traditions. Okay, thank you.
So
Please.
music. I was talking about the nature of Nirmiti. So music,
Nirmiti.
yeah, so music is always it is a pathway to communicate with the divine. Always in the sadhana, that is what a sadhak is doing. The enigmatic element that is involved in the sadhana that helps in providing a way to merge with the divine, or to connect with the universe. It is a science of emotions and consciousness, I would say. So it guides a listener as well towards a deeper state. It evokes certain sort of emotions, and there is a wide range of feelings that is triggered inside within you. So Sangeet Nirmiti through notes, when it is done through sur and shrutis and then their periodic repetitiveness, and when that is appreciated by the human ear, it somewhere makes an impact on the human mind. So when we talk about sadhana, what is sadhana? Basically it is nothing but practicing, analyzing, and creating, keep coming up with new stuff. So it gets intense as you go deeper and deeper and gain knowledge, vidya from your guru, or from in company of senior artists. Then when the sadhana stage comes, then it is not just mere practice. It transforms you from a musician to a sadhak. There's a tremendous amount of sacrifice involved, of course, in that stage, and most of the day is spent in thinking, analyzing, creating. That's what happens in the prastuti stage also. When you're performing, you're actually basically constantly thinking of the next line and next word, and how you're going to, and this thinking starts with how you're going to end the current word. I mean, there is so much happening the mind in the prastuti stage. So sadhak has to do this in the sadhana also, that one has to keep thinking. It spend days and nights in thinking and analyzing and creating. So it sort of instills a sense of inner discipline as well. There is a holistic development involved in if the sadhana is happening on the right path. So it leads to an absolute state of bliss. Absolutely, as long as you are connected with music. Yes, please.
I had another question in this, which is very important now that you have come into sadhana. See, every person, like I'm now referring to Padmatai Talwalkar, Sureshji's wife, and she said that it is extremely important for a real sadhana. I mean, the one who is very serious about, who takes his sadhana as his very life, his or her very life, to keep perfect balance between outward and inward life.
Correct.
She was the one who has
Correct.
mentioned it the most, and I really revere her for that, because Sureshji is like the outside.
Correct.
I mean, like for her, he is like God, but
Correct.
she's also an equal artist. But she kind of went into the background and she managed the balance part. So according to me, she is the greater sadhak. I mean, it's not a question of comparison.
Absolutely.
It's very hard to do it. So
Yeah,
can you
it's
say
not
a few
about
words on this?
how much you do in the prastuti part performance. Who has performed how much, and the number of programs you have given. It is the sadhana is just a sadhana. It doesn't involve how much you have done for others, how much you have served the audience and all. It's sadhana is happening within you. It goes. It just keeps flowing through your thoughts in your practice and all. That's very well said. So sadhak also, in the process of attaining a particular goal, the correct path starts with is how one can remove yourself from your performance, the fictitious I that we keep talking about. One has to surrender to the art. खुद को बाहर निकाल के one has to look at your own art very neutrally, from a neutral perception. Sur is an experience that one cannot show. Yes, I cannot show. Basically, especially a vocalist. When a vocalist is hitting, if I'm on keyboard, if I'm on sitar, you have frets. I mean, you have show that this is sa, this is re. But how will a vocalist show in air? I mean, where is sa, where is re? So sur is something that needs to be experienced within. It cannot be demonstrated, and the experience is so much all within that. The prachiti part, the cognizance, the recognition, the realization that one has to take. You have to take yourself out of it, and then set your art free of all the undue bias and preconceived opinions, and then look at your own art. But you have to first isolate yourself from the art, is what I'm saying. So
this concept which you're talking about, there is a very rare interview of your own Parapar Guru, which is Kishoritai Amolkar, given towards her last 4 or 5 years. I think in TV interviews she gave only last 3 or 4 years. Before that, she never gave any great interview. She was talking about the Vedic roots of Raga Sangeet, basically, and she said how the Rag has to live inside you before you can actually do its prastuti and all of that. So there she involved this. Introduced this term first time, which at least I heard. It is called Anabhi Sangatva, or non-conformance is what I've called in QAW, basically. Anabhi Sangatva. She said that like Sangha, Abhisanga, Anabhisanga. So basically you completely, exactly what you described, remove that I from your system completely and only allow the Raga to live inside you. Of course, it is like
and it is not divinity. It is not easy. That is the siddhi part of the sadhana.
That is the siddhi part.
When the bliss is inside, the Brahmananda, it's all within you. Vam anandamayam from Brahmamaya. That is the siddhi part of the sadhana, and it is not easy, and often this whole Brahmananda lies in the process of sadhana. The whole path becomes very blissful. So my from the personal experience, I would say, when there is no meditation happening, often we say in I think last few podcasts, Varun, I think made a point that the mind, how it is always wandering here and there, it is difficult to focus on something. So this is exactly where how people hit Om, they chant Om. So this is exactly where this sadhana for a musician comes to your head, hitting just Sa. It's a travel to the center, I would say. You close your eyes, you are traveling to the center. Chitta Shanti, what we say, that is what the Anahat Nath is to me. The when you're solitude, what you were talking about, you sit in solitude, there is riyaz happening, you are hitting a note. And for me it is sa. It could be any surah, but when you hit a sa and there is no technology around you, there is no sound system, so one has to keep all the senses open. So this, your whole pvm is, your whole body is involved, and that is where the Atma Chintan is also happening. You are listening to yourself, you are the sender, you are the receiver, everything is happening within you. So the sadhana is to achieve that direct connection with the divine, to the divine, and and it is not meant for any academic excellence, as you were saying, Padmata. It is not meant for मुझे जाके यहाँ गाना है, I'm singing in front of this many people. So sadhana is a very different process, and it should not be mixed with the performance part of prastuti. So one has to awaken the guru within you, is what I am saying. It is the Shastra and Sadhana that makes you realize how little you know. As deeper and deeper you go, you just realize you don't know anything. And so in the sadhana, the discipline part, I would say, hitting that one komalga. For Todi, that komalga is different. For Bhiplas, that komalga is different. In Lalat, both consecutive modes, Tivrama and Shuddhama, they come back to back. So for this discipline, the sadhana part should be taken very seriously. So from this, my personal anubhav, as you asked me to talk about, is for a musician, the experience through riyaz, all these things are true. There is a release of endorphins, and there is elevated oxygen levels. You have increase in appetite. It is very stress relieving, extremely satisfying. But most importantly for me, what taught me, it's still teacher, I'm still a student, very much an infant in this. It is nothing but patience. It just teaches you patience. It offers a chance to become better than yesterday. One has to be patient in this whole process. So I would split my anubhav part into two things. One is listening and practicing. So in the practicing part, courage practice that I just admire, and I ask my students, or I ask everyone, one should focus a lot more on the courage, which is not taken very seriously. It is nothing but the lower octave, low notes, which causes minimum strain to vocal cords. One has to hit and sustain that note as long as you can, so that you, in that process, I hear my own inner voice. That is the Anahat Nath I was talking about. So your PVM becomes the, what do we say, Garbhagruha, as we say, sanctum. Sanctum. I mean, I can't explain in a better way, but imagine sitting in a sanctum. It's just you, and your inner sanctum is filled with echoes and vibrations. If you take your entire body as a temple, you can say probably your feet is the entrance gopuram, and your sanctum is the heart, and shikhar is the head. So when you hit that note, when you enter that phase of meditation, it is a part of meditation for me. All the thoughts stay away, and you just start hitting your notes. You just feel that those vibrations within you, and there is just inner bliss inside. Another part, another aspect of anubhav is the listening, which is also equally important. It nurtures a tremendous amount of creativity. One has to study various styles and observe senior artists and observe yourself as well. You have to listen to yourself as well and then take notes. So one anubhav I would like to share here. I was supposed to sing this Marathi song, and I suddenly got a call that the show is coming up in 2 or 3 days, and that particular song was not set, and I was supposed to sing it in Dinanath Natya Gruha Vile Parle. So that song had a tam towards the end, which was just, I was not satisfied somehow with that tam, and like I was just tired, and somehow you get stagnant the more and more and more you practice, and I was like, kuch nahi hoga mujhse, and I just left that day. But I made sure that I'm listening to that song. So there was one headphone in my ear, and that I fell asleep, but that song was going on, and I woke up after 30-35 minutes, and I was like, अरे बाप रे रियाज करना है, ऐसा वो गाना बिठाना है and all. So I realized that tan was set when I sat back, when I started the riyaz part. That is the anubhav, that is the auditory training that involved. It involves it has a tremendous power in setting your notes when hitting is involved. It sets the frequency correct. So it is entire thing is a very transformative journey for me, and that has taught a significant amount of patience, and it has a very blissful experience, and it is very spiritual and very culturally rich. So being on stage ever since I was a kid, that has instead of creates a sense of confidence, which is very important in the formative years for children. So
I would like to add something very important. Why I respect our vidyas, be they colors or knowledge areas, whichever they are, whatever Vedic area it is. Most important focus is given to action. How you prastuti is not it's not a demonstration. You are living the principles which you lived. You are trying to live the principles that you studied from under the book or listening or whatever. It's not a show. What the West calls a show. In Vedic Vidya, it's not a show. So action is the proof of what you are.
Absolutely.
Finally.
Absolutely.
That is the greatest anubhav in any Vedic Vidya, be it yoga or be it Sangeet Kala.
Yeah, the path to mastery is very long, but one has to go through all these bittersweet anubhav of the journey, and then falling in love with music itself was so satisfying. It was very spiritual for me. So it is a pursuit of happiness for many musicians, and for many people. It don't have to be a musician to find that happiness within you. So I met so many greatest of artists, and getting to know them and working with them has been a great experience. So it all plays a vital role in the personal growth as well.
Great. Fantastic.
So one thing I would like to, many people ask me this, how being a beginner or a complete third person who has no experience or background in music, relation to music, how to start developing that interest. First of all, is I think if one is not in touch with music for a long time, I would say, and if you are interested in knowing how this whole system works, I would say pick a rag. You have everything available on YouTube and Google today. You pick any rag, and you don't have to know that rag, but you get a list online that shows which all songs are based on that rag. Like you have rag bhoop. You have many websites showing you which all the songs are based on rag bhoop, rag yaman. You only start listening to that set of rag. You will get the essence of the rag. You will know what the bhav, how the mood is, what the vibe of that rag is. And which time you will realize you can actually recognize, guess phrases. One how the बीते ना बीता ही रहना बिरहा की याद से यमन इस मोड़ से जाते हैं. All these rags you will find a lot of similarity. Even मेरी आवाज ये पहचान है, जब दीप जले आना. If you listen to all these masterpieces that are done in Indian classes in film music, if you just stick to that one particular rag, you will start recognizing phrases of that rag, and that you will start gaining more and more experience in the whole rag system. So but in this whole thing, one has to take pleasure. You have to take pleasure in your hobby. You should be convinced that this is something that is there only to give you happiness. Only to gain. You can also, of course, try your hands at playing instruments also, because that is another hand-eye coordination. As I said, I cannot show you, demonstrate. I can't show you this is sa, this is re. But on an instrument, I can show you. So when I say you have to jump from sa to ma for happy birthday to you, I can't show you how long that jump is vocally, but I can show you on the instrument, so that your eyes see how long you have to jump from sa to ma or sa to. You will not believe, in the same song Happy Birthday, you are singing from sa to sa, lower sa to higher sa. That long a jump we all have been making all our life, but we just don't know. how long that jump is, that only an instrument can teach you. So to go ahead and try your hands at playing any instrument. Just pick it up and start. You have all YouTube tutorials, you have Google, but I would say for consistency, just learn from a certified teacher who can show your mistakes. Who can show what is lacking and what needs to be done, what needs to be improved. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
yes,
actually, we are coming to the end of our kind of assigned time slot, because most people have taken out their valued time just as you have done for us.
correct.
So can I request that you kind of come to the end of this great presentation with an equally musical start that we made?
Okay, yes, sure. I would like to, this is a traditional practice of ending any musical concert with Bhairavi. So I would like to present a quick piece, a very short piece.
Great.
Is the Tankura too loud for you?
No, not able to hear it.
Okay, not edible. Okay.
Madhura, no, Madhura, basically last time Shambhavi also had a similar issue. There is a setting in Google Meet which says the
Share audio.
turn off music or something like that. So even if you're playing music, we will not listen to that. So you will have to change it at your end to enable. Let me see where that setting is. Hold on.
But that's okay. That's okay. I can just continue.
So you don't need Kampura? Okay.
I don't need it. Yeah. It's, the
Or
Tankura
at
is just
least
for my
we need
phone.
not listen. Okay.
Yeah, it's just for
For
my
you.
phone.
Madhura.
We are
Sorry.
not able to hear you.
We are not able to hear you.
I think you changed the setting. You have to.
What if I keep the Tankura off?
Keep it off.
Keep it off. Yeah.
Now you're okay.
So when I speak, I am audible, but when I sing, I'm not. Is what is happening. Probably.
With
Okay.
the Tankura on.
Stop me if it happens.
Also, Amit, I think you should mute. There's some noise coming from your end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No,
There
not
is a
audible.
problem.
There is
Yeah,
a
when you
problem.
start singing, wait a minute. Let me
What
try
is
to-
that? What is that setting you were talking about?
1 second. Backgrounds and effects. Settings. Okay. If
I
you
don't
just
see
click on settings, there is. Let me quickly show. There is settings. So studio sound filters out sound from your mic that isn't speech. You turn that off. Let me show my screen real quick.
Studio sound. I turned that off.
You turn that off?
Yeah.
Okay. Now try.
अभी है? Okay. बाबुल मोरा बाबुल मोरा नैहर छूट जाए बाबुल मोरा नैहर छूट जाए बाबुल मोरा नैहर छूट जाए अंगना तो पर्वत भयो कि देहरी भई विदेश अंगना तो पर्वत भयो देहरी भई विदेश जे चली पिया के देश बाबुल मुरा मुरा नैहर छूटो जाए नैहर छूटो ही जाए नैहर छूटो जाए. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madhura.
Thank
We
you.
really do pronounce to your art and the artist inside you.
Thank you.
Outwardly,
Thank you.
age of artist has never been an issue in Bharatiya Parampara. We have people of very, very young age demonstrating supreme intellect and prowess in the knowledge areas. So age has never been a problem. So in Indians, we don't have a problem prostrating to younger, so-called younger people, because their knowledge is great. And we really thank you. We are very grateful to you for taking out 2 valuable hours from our schedule. We know that you have young one to take care of, and you have so many other things to do as well, besides that your teaching schedule. You took out 2 hours for us. I know that this QAW thing, I mean, like, it's not a usual thing. It might turn out to be boring for certain artists, for other people to talk about it, because you people are so used to doing it. It's just the opposite for philosophers. Philosophers generally like to talk about it, but artists are constantly doing what is supposed to be done. So thank you very much for verbalizing, because see, the thing is, the value of this is very high. When you verbalize what you're actually doing, the philosophers or the generalists are also encouraged to start practicing what they are talking. This is what we want to learn from you. And the thing that is, so thank you so much. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
For the opportunity as well. Thank you.
And all the people who were enthusiastic from outside also to come on to the show, then the people who asked you so many interesting questions, they also made the show very interesting, because it shows that people are taking live interest in what you're saying.
True.
Live interest in what. So that we have to thank them for.
Yeah. I would be glad even one of you take this Shastra seriously in life, and start your journey in the Abhijat Kala. It doesn't have to be Sangeet, any form of Kala. Then I would say, today's lecture was, worth doing all the research for me for weeks and all. And
Yeah. Yes. And definitely, I mean, you spent a lot of time in researching and presenting such technical matter to us, right from the Vedic swaras to the praharas, and then the chakras and stuff like that. And also the technical differences between Shastra, Tantra, Kala, and all of those.
Vidya.
So it's fantastic, Vidya. So it is important to understand this, because otherwise, see, this is the framework. If person doesn't understand framework, then one is not helped by it when you need it most, basically. That is why framework is important. The same framework is applicable to many other vidyas.
Yes,
exactly
absolutely.
same.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't,
thank you for sharing.
It to music. It applies everywhere in all
Yes,
forms of studies.
Absolutely, but we have to actually meet and experience a person who's actually doing it for 2-3 decades to actually understand and realize it. So thank you so much.
And I could be little biased towards Indian music today, because that is what I have been doing for years. So, but yeah, take these 4 pillars and apply this to all sort of studies and science and all sort of hobbies you have been pursuing so far. It is just the same. The structure is the same. It just the channel is different. I'm talking about music, but it could be something else for you.
Correct.
But
Correct.
these 4 pillars one cannot avoid and one cannot surpass without giving equal attention to each.
That is the tough part. That is the tough part.
Exactly.
Because in every home, somebody has to be the guide like this.
Exactly.
To the kids and even to each other.
Exactly.
So this will help.
And consistency as well. When we ask a child whether you want milk or no, the child will say no only. So when this dilemma is there, whether I should pursue this or no, just ask yourself whether you want milk in a blue or Mickey Mouse cup or a Superman cup. So answer has to be yes. One has to follow Vedic Shastra. It could be any Shastra, but don't give yourself an option of yes or no. Just give yourself which form. अगर आपको संगीत करना है, so whether you want to sit and listen to light music today or semi-classical or classical, so that there is no option or there is no chance of saying no. So that is what the consistency involves. So one has to be a little consistent, especially in the beginning stage. But thank you everyone for coming today and attending this, and it is very lovely to see you all after such a long time. Thanks for all the inputs and your questions, and I enjoyed today.
We will, Madhura will also, I mean, Aditya will arrange YouTube for us, and whenever it is ready, we'll be able to publish it also. So if you want to do it on your own website, but we'll also put it in public space after you approve it. So that will be of great value. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone else apart from the QW members for attending very enthusiastically, for the response that you are giving live right now to her. And Madhura is definitely, she will value this, because people coming from different fields right now, they're kind of applauding her. So thank you so much. Thank you, Madhura. And then we'll close this show. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.